that's up to themselves. It's a very relaxed situation. So delighted to have Tom back. Tom presented way back early on when we started.
Make an gauge, I believe.
Yeah, well, it's a couple of years ago anyway. And it's great to have him back, and looking forward to hearing what he has for us to listen to today. So I'll leave you go, Tom.
Welcome back, pilgrims. Now, where are pilgrims heading for? They're heading for the promised land. Take away, Chuck. Please.
My home in Norfolk, Virginia, California, on my mind. I straddled that 300 road and into Raleigh and over to North Carolina. We stopped in Charlotte for 5 weeks. When I knew we never was a minute late. We were 90 miles out of Atlanta by sundown, rolling out of Georgia State. We had more trouble than turning to, and that house rolled down and there was on stranded in downtown Birmingham. Right away I bought me a through train ticket right across Mississippi clean. And I was on that midnight flyer out of Birmingham, smoking in the New Orleans. Somebody help me get out of Louisiana, help me get to you.
Chuck Berry,
Yeah.
who left us. He's gone to the great recording studio in the sky. Well, actually, he's in Forest Lawn, where his mortal remains are. Enough mortality for the moment. Well, we have Lena Ullman, who was part of that great folk band, Moonshine, which consisted of herself, Lena, and Johnny Moynihan and Frank, whose last name escapes me because I can't see the liner notes from here. Now we're talking.
Okay.
And it's ain't gonna work tomorrow. And why break the habits of a lifetime, people?
Rainy
she ain't gonna work tomorrow. A wise philosophy in these straitened times. Now, we have the Hacienda brothers. She's gone. She's not coming back. Hello, buddy, baby.
Inside my heart, I'm all alone, like a child lost without a home. My life's become a rolling stone. The wind and the sea, the mountains and the trees, they whisper, she's gone. Each night, on bended knees, I pray that soon my soul will see today. The angels carry me away. On the wind and the sea, the mountains and the trees all whisper, she's gone. The sun no longer shines on me. My dreams have lost their ecstasy. Oh, the wind and the sea, the mountains and the trees, they all whisper, she's gone. They all whisper, she's gone.
Chris Gaffney and the Hacienda brothers. Chris, unfortunately, himself is gone. He's gone to that great corral in the sky. Anyway, but with all that grief, it's only pertinent that we have Hank Williams, who insists that the blues come round. Yeah.
Once I was happy as I could be, but I let a gal make a fool of me. And ever since she let me down, the blues come around when the sun goes down. Oh, the blues come around. Oh, the blues come around. Lord, the blues come around every evening when the sun goes down. As long as the sun is in the sky, these doggone blues never make me cry. But ever since she left this town, the blues come around when the sun goes down. Oh, the blues come around. Oh, the blues come around. Oh, the blues come around every evening when the sun goes down. sun goes down. Oh, the blues come around. Oh, the blues come around. Lord, the blues come around every evening when the sun goes down. Once she called me all her own, but now she's gone and I'm alone. And every evening I'm sorrow bound. All the blues come around when the sun goes down. Oh, the blues come around. Oh, the blues come around. All the blues come around every evening when the sun goes down. Come around. Lord, the blues come around every evening when the sun goes down.
That was the father of all great music in this video idiom, the great Hank Williams. And like a lot of practitioners, his favourite lane was the fast lane. And he left the planet in '53. When Modesty Forbids arrived. So I'm on Route 66 at the moment. Moving swiftly on with this nostalgia and too much information, folks. Something completely different now. I was outside taking a break, which involved a smoke and a drink. I was in the righteous company of Los Paradiso, who have a residency every night, or every Wednesday in the Leeson Lounge. Suddenly, apropos nothing at all, Kevin Malone, the drummer, did a very impeccable take on Jack McGowan reading Beckett. Jack McGowan reading Beckett.
I shall soon be quite dead at last, in spite of all. Perhaps next month. Then it will be the month of April, or of May. But the year is still young. 1,000 little signs tell me so. Perhaps I am wrong. Perhaps I shall survive St. John the Baptist's Day, and even the 14th of July, Festival of Freedom. Indeed, I would not put it past me to pant on to the Transfiguration, not to speak of the Assumption. But I do not think so. I do not think I am wrong in saying that these rejoicings will take place in my absence this year. I have that feeling. I've had it now for some days, and I credit it. I could die today if I wished, merely by making a little effort. But it is just as well to let myself die, quietly, without rushing things. Something must have changed. I will not weigh upon the balance any more, one way or the other. I shall be neutral and inert. No difficulty there. Throws are the only trouble. I must be on my guard against throws. But I am less given to them now since coming here. Of course, I still have my little fits of impatience from time to time. I must be on my guard against them for the next fortnight or 3 weeks. Without exaggeration, to be sure.
Now, it was never my intention to reduce the audience to mild hysteria. So, to cheer you up even more, we're going to play a track by John Mayall, and before we do, it's an interesting liner note from John Peel on the original album. Sonny Boy Blow, and vocal and the harmonica and jangle piano, all by Mr. Mayall, who's playing in Dolan's in November, and each that I didn't book in time, but I was assured by some of the fraternity now, not confraternity, who are long gone. hallelujah, that I'll be looked after. I'll be looked after when I'll be turned away as I walk up the road. Anyway, it's a tribute to the late Sonny Boy Williamson. Not a sad, gloomy tribute, but a rollicking, cantering thing, filled with unrestrained outbursts on the harmonica and some rolling boogie-woogie from John's famous jangle piano. Sonny Boy Blow! Circumstance as John Mayall fades away, and hopefully he'll be alive by the 23rd of November. Or he'll still be alive. God, there's an awful lot of the ungrateful dead around here on vinyl, I must say. The rest of you are a live audience. Jesus.
I think so.
The Beckett piece is a required listening by the boxers of Limerick, Tony Cross, Brother Griffin, and Brother Thompson, undertakers to you uninitiated. I was walking down the street the other day, and when you see somebody out of context, you momentarily don't recognise them. It was one, John Thompson, and he addressed me. Hello, Tom, how are you? Hello, John. How are you really, Tom? You know we're always there for you. Oh, yes. Oh, there you are. Who writes this drivel? I was in a certain bookshop in Dublin back in the day, about 40 years ago, when an unusually well-dressed George Hodnett arrived in. George was a jazz man, jazz critic, and an all-round good fellow. Anyway, the white jacket told it all, and one word from him, he said, Ella. He was on his way to see Ella Fitzgerald in Cork. I wasn't there. Despite rumours to the contrary, I don't have my location. It's not one of my talents, so I'm working on it. Anyway, my cousin Bernie, who was there, went to both gigs. They were virtually back-to-back. Ella was 5 to 7 and 8 to 10 or whatever. And Bernie said to me, it was obvious that the first gig was only a rehearsal. She blew Cork Opera House away in the second gig. But sure, there you are. Well, failing her appearance, her live appearance, we have her on CD here with Mr. Louis Armstrong, Stomping at the Savoy. Yeah.
Savoy, the home of sweet romance. Savoy, it brings you at a glance. Savoy gives happy feet a chance to dance. Your form just like a clinging vine. Your lips so warm and sweet as wine. Your cheeks so soft and close to mine. Divine. How my heart is singing while the band is swinging. Never tired of romping and stomping with you at the Savoy. What joy, a perfect holiday. Savoy, where we can glide and sway. Savoy, there let me stomp away with you.
There's the gravelly intonation of the Lewis fades away, and the melodic strains of Old Ella. We're now still with the melody with The West Was Burning from Martha Scanlon. No relation to the Scanlons from Scrahan, as far as I know. It's only one.
Was the year the West was burning, I was on and I was sleeping, I woke up dreaming about you. I was walking down a road of dust and bones and ash and following a burning set of tracks that led to you. I still see the
mistakenly, that was Leave On Helen in the background. Never met the man, but I had the pleasure of meeting his daughter Amy. She's on the album as well, when she was with a band called Ola Bella. And where did I see this manifestation of manifestations? Kilkenny, Rhythm and Roots. And any of you who haven't been there yet should be ashamed of yourselves. Thoroughly ashamed of you. One or two of you have been seen at a Fianna Fáil Ardèche. But enough of that. We're going back, since we're in Retro City. Well, that's another story. We're in Retro City now. It's Mary McGonigal and the Waltons program.
This is the Walton program, your weekly reminder of the grace and beauty that lie in our heritage of Irish songs, the songs our fathers loved.
Sundays could be seen, but the pony trap's now out of date. 'Tis the Pascal limousine. Do you remember the good old days? Forever they're past. They'll never be the same again, for things are changing fast. I still recall the winter nights, the cottages were bright. 'Twasn't from the electric steam, 'twas the good old candlelight. And the ceilidh in the country home with the fiddler in the stand. But that would never do today, 'tis a six-piece ceilidh band. Do you remember the good old days? Forever they're past. They'll never be the same again, for things are changing fast. When setting out to spade the turf, all the old years they were kind. The winding bridge by the silvery stream is now a thing of past. They've moved them all to suit this age, 'cause things are moving fast. Do you remember the good old days? Forever they're past. They'll never be the same again, for things are changing fast.
Oh, sorry, did I do that out loud?
I didn't realise I was sitting beside a technician who's forever locked into Deep Purple in rock, but that's his own business. Now then, I particularly picked the next track. It's Ronnie Drew's take on Leadbelly's wonderful song, Good Night Irene. And it's the real version with the real words, unlike what some of our country and Irish fellas lay on it. It's a very sad song, and it's evocative of Irene leaving the man who loves her. Anyway, despite the presence of his wife.
Last Saturday night I got married. Me and my wife settled down. Now me and my wife have parted. I'm gonna take a little stroll downtown. Irene, good night, Irene. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'm gonna get you in my dream. Stop your rambling. jump into the river and drown. Irene, good night, Irene. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'm gonna get you in my dream. I love Irene, God knows I do. Gonna love her till the sea runs dry. And if Irene turns her back on me, I'm gonna take morphine and die.
Mike assures me supplies of morphine for the overworked library staff have run out. But there's always tequila, Sheila. Now then, they're still there, Joe. Sorry. Jim. Sorry.
I'm not going to tell you.
No, I'm not going to go down that road.
You're not the first person to call me Joe.
No, I was referring to a member of the audience who was still comatose. Anyway! I mean, the last thing you get in his print shop is print. It's a party, it's a happening time. And he usually makes me green with envy and say, well, look, we at that gig, and he usually was at himself. There isn't a scrap of work in that print shop of his. Now then, our old the O'Malleys, and since we're into gravelly intonations, the unmistakable Peter Donnelly, I will follow.
Rest of my thoughts and what you said, flowing like a liquid lead. You got what you want, but I got mine. Taking out my point of view, aiming my words straight at you. Anything I can do to help you. Make a fire of blood and cold. You can break my heart and hide my soul. Is there anything I can teach you? Stumble over to the village chapel. You do the sinning and eat the apple, and I'll follow you. No grief, no grief. Nothing died but belief. No grief, no grief. Oh, nothing died but belief. Across that bridge, stop and look over the ridge. Drop a coin in the fast moving water. You were born in yesterdays, in so many farawways. Is there nothing now you can offer? Time goes through your hands like the shifting sands. Breaks the dam that holds back the wonder. Stumble over to the village chapel. You do the sitting and eat the apple, and I'll follow you. I'll follow you through all the roses. Follow you through all the proposals. Change my mind just in time to leave. No grief, no grief. If nothing died but belief. No grief, no grief. If nothing died but belief.
The O'Malleys, Peter Donnelly, I will follow. And it's from their great album, which finally arrived after 40 years. Can you hear me? God, it's good to know I'm not alone. That's the name of the album. Anyway, the master. And despite rumours to the country, some amongst us felt he was very good in Kilkenny the last time round. I'm referring, of course, to Mr. Bob Dylan, and he is, after all, a young fella of 78. And unfortunately, I can't play him on a 78. We're playing him on a CD here today. The great anthem, Like a Rolling Stone. Mothers and brothers and sisters.
Wrong track, sorry.
Frankie Rose 1.
Track 1.
One letter, P. Two numbers, 4 and 5.
Once upon a time you dressed so fine, threw the bumps of dime in your prime. Then you people call, say beware doll, you're bound to fall. You thought they were all kidding you. You used to laugh about everybody that was hanging out. Now you don't talk so loud. Now you don't seem so proud about having to be scrounging your next meal. How does it feel? How does it feel to be without a home? Like a complete unknown, like a rolling stone. Are you gone to the finest school all around?
There's only 4.5 more minutes. And, could be worse, folks. I could have brought in MacArthur Park at 7.5 minutes. No. God bless you for endurance. Guinness Book of Record, people. Now,
And my CD, is it?
beg your pardon.
Mine is still
What's
there.
yours is mine, what's mine is me. Let's not share our dirty linen with the rest of the congregation. That's Father Murphy used to say. No, hang on a minute, there's too much happening here. Irish Lament enlivened a very dull, dreary Kilkenny one evening when she played in the Watergate Theatre. And she's now rendering her Our Town from Iris the Abetted.
And you know the sun's setting fast, and just like they say, nothing good ever lasts. Well, go on now and kiss it goodbye, but hold on to your lover, 'cause your heart's bound to die. Go on now and say goodbye to our town, to our town. Can't you see the sun setting down on our town, on our town? Good night. Up the street beside the red neon light, that's where I met my baby on one hot summer night. He was the tender and I ordered a beer. It's been 40 years and I'm still sitting here. But you know the sun's setting fast, and just like they say, nothing good ever lasts. Well, go on now and kiss it goodbye, but hold on to your lover, 'cause your heart's bound to die. Go on now and say goodbye to our town, to our town. Can't you see the sun setting down on our town, on our town? Good night.
Irish Lament. Highlight of my concert-going career was many years ago. I saw Humphrey Littleton and what's her name, Helen Shapiro in the sadly defunct Royal in Limerick. Now, the name of the album is I Can't Get Started. Well, it's a good man's fault, and maybe another drink might alleviate the pain. And the track It might as well rain until September.
What should I write? What can I say? How can I tell you how much I miss you? The weather is as nice as it can be, although it doesn't really matter much to me. Far wrong the fun I'll have while you're so far away. It might as well rain until September. I don't need sunny skies for things I have to do, 'cause I stay home the whole day long and think of you. As far as I'm concerned, each day's a rainy day, so it might as well rain until September. My friends look forward to their picnics on the beach. Everybody loves the summertime. But you know, darling, while your arms are out of reach, the summer isn't any friend of mine. It doesn't matter whether the skies are gray or blue. It's raining in my heart 'cause I can't be with you. I'm only living for the day you're home to stay. Might as well rain until September.
Helen Shapiro, Humphrey Littleton. It might as well rain until September. I hope not. Anyway, and this is something that we've all tried to do. Teach your children. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Well, yeah.
Cause we're on the road, must have a code that you can live by, and so become yourself, because the past is just a goodbye. Teach your children well, their father's hell did slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams, the one they fix, the one you know by. Don't you ever ask them why, if they told you you would cry, so just look at them and sigh. Of tender years, can't know the fears that your elders grew by, and so please help them with your youth. They seek the truth before they can die. Teach your parents well, their children's hell will slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams, the one they fix, the one you know by. Don't you ever ask them why, if they told you you would try, so just look at them and sigh, and know they love you.
Yeah.
That was Tom Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Sad news for Buddy Holly fans. My Teco has discovered that the album is not in the sleeve. These things happen. Instead, we'll move swiftly over to Sweden with Baskery. It was a wonderful three-girl combo, all sisters. And none of them were in a convent as far as I know. Baskery and on a day like this, God knows.
There is a ride in Atlantic City, gamblers are running wild. Suddenly the sky opened up and gold was pouring down. People started fighting each other while they tried to get their share, saying, I got a gun so you don't wanna mess with me. City, citizens are going mad. Suddenly the sky opened up and rain was pouring down. People started pushing each other while they tried to clear their way, singing, I got a house that's sinking into the ground. On a day like this, it shows who you really are.
Fast now, and with the lovely Patricia Vaughan, Texas artiste, and her track is Savarina.
No hay razón por beso. Quiero ir hacia el rincón. Severina, corazón. Ay, 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 vida mía. Es mi dulce.
Sin City among his works. She also appears in some of his movies. Fades away into the distance, and this describes my condition. I look as healthy as a horse, but as my wife, mother of my children, and the woman of my dreams. As a fellow said to me one night, sometimes they're not the same woman, but in my case, I'm too honest.
Where's my gun?
Well, you know, there's a great line from the great late Red Peters' 99 Years. I committed a crime and shot my woman at a 44. It's a piece of weaponry. It's very hard to find in this town, a 44. Now then, since all the boys are in the clink, now, Chris Christopherson, Sunday morning coming down. Friday morning coming down, baby.
Well, I woke up Sunday morning with no way to hold my head. It didn't hurt. And the beer I had for breakfast wasn't bad, so I had one more for dessert. Then I fumbled through my closet for my clothes and found my cleanest dirty shirt. And I shaved my face and combed my hair and stumbled down the stairs to meet the day. I'd smoked my brain the night before on cigarettes and songs that I'd been picking. But I lit my first and watched a small kid cussing at a can that he was kicking. Then I crossed the empty street, caught the Sunday smell of someone frying chicken. And it took me.
Christopherson. I met him after a gig in the Pint many years ago. A wonderful sight, one man and his guitar and 6,500 accolades. And we shook hands on it and he said, whatever doesn't kill you will make you stronger. And I said, Nietzsche, and he said, no, Christopherson. Moving swiftly on. 10 years on the road from Mary Stokes and one night of sin. Now we wouldn't know anything about that, of course, now that we've joined the monster.
One night of sin is what I'm now paying for. The things I did and I saw would make the earth stand still. Don't call my name, oh yeah. Don't you know that it makes me feel so ashamed? I've lost my sweet helping hand. I've only got myself to blame.
Mary Stokes, One Night of Sin. I've read about these things. Now, the one and only, there were pretenders and contenders, but there was only one king, Elvis, and one night!
One night with you is what I'm now praying for. Of things that we two could plan would make my dreams come true. Just call my name and I'll be right by your side. I want your sweet helping hand. My love's too strong to hide. Always live and be white light.
Elvis left us 42 years ago, last August. I remember it well. I wasn't there for various reasons, I remember it well. Now the thing about it is, Larry Gogan, who's still with us, was the one who brought the news to a sad and grieving nation. Well, they weren't sad or grieving until he told them. Keep on going there, Lar, at 83, God help us. Now, we finish up, but I have a couple of stories to tell. Why waste them, you know? Aoife Clancy, daughter of the late Bobby Clancy, is going to give us that wonderful ditty. Are you sleeping, Maggie? It's always wise to ask, you know. Are you sleeping, Maggie? Just wake up, lads, please.
Dark and rainy is the night. There's no star in all that carry lightning gleams across the sky and winds that blow with greater fury. Oh, are you sleeping, Maggie? Oh, are you sleeping, Maggie? Let me in. Flaudelin is roaring o'er the warlock's craggy. Fearful blows the orgy back. The drifted wood roars wild and dreary. Now the iron yet does clack and cry of power.
Well, the Clancy's are alive and well, even onto the second and third generation. Something like the Gilhooly's who will never die. Anyway, a couple of stories here while we're ebbing and flowing out the door. When I was picking out Ronnie Drew, it reminded me of a true life Ronnie story. Ronnie gave me a lift back in the day and we pulled into, not Abilene as Jim Burke would suggest, or Mephisto. We pulled into Abbey Leaks because in those days you had to ring the local exchange to get through to wherever you were getting through to. And despite the fact that the telephone was walled off in that haberdashery in Abbey Leaks, actually it was a pub, we could hear all thank you, darling. Well, she's heard it too often. But anyway, the thing about it is, Ronnie was getting grief from the telephonist in Port Alicia. She didn't realise that Ronnie was an ex-telephonist himself. He served his time with people like Michael Caine, the painter, and Mr. Hackett, the writer, and John Kelly. However, Ronnie said something like, well, who's your supervisor? And who's running that exchange? Deirdre and I will be having lunch tomorrow with the Minister for P&T, and he'd be very impressed with the standard of service a humble balladeer was getting in Abbey Leaks. God, you could nearly see the Garrett wilting, and he said, Tom, you're right, we'll head off. So we got back in the car and drove away, and I said, Ronnie, you were very hard on that young one. Jesus, Tom, nobody takes the piss out of Ronnie Drew for being Ronnie Drew. And finally, for the musicians in the audience, Charles, I hope he's not here. Charles Foley sends his apology, but it's a legend in music circles. He was rehearsing a band prior to going to the Cork Jazz Festival years ago. One of the lads had eaten not wisely but too well on the old onion sandwiches, and released a horrendous fart, the consternation of the rest of the band, and imperturbable, unshaken, Foley looked at the rest of the guys and he said, sniffed, he says, sounds like a B flat to me. Now then, here we go, there should be more, and we've been a great audience, and don't stay too long in the house of Cross or Griffin or wherever, and never drink out of a wet glass. We have standards.
That's a good aphorism on which to leave the occasion. Tom.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Tom. I have to say, I really enjoyed this selection of music myself, and looking forward to Kate next month, and we'll see where we go after that then. Actually, every now and again, somebody says to me, oh, I might do that sometime, and then I say, oh, that's great, yeah, and that's the end of that, and I don't hear back from them. I think you might be one of the people.
No, your turn.
Yes.
It's open, you know, and
Jim will do it. Jim is up for it.
Our preference is for people who come to the group to present, rather than us going looking for for other people.
Listen, I'd like to thank, of course, Mike for the use of the hall, and I'd also thank his excellent staff who are literate in music, in literature and whatever, as befitting the staff of a good library, and this is one of the great libraries.
Oh, excellent.
Well, you know, it's not exactly Alexandria, but it is there.
Can I just say, sorry, can I just interrupt you, Tom, just to mention that we put up the selections of music YouTube playlists on the Limerick Library YouTube channel. So I put together the playlist over the weekend.
Lovely.
And I might make a copy of these.
Do that,
if anybody wants a copy of the lists.
Fire away.
So sorry, Tom. Thanks very much.
Finally, folks, rock on.
Thank you, Tom.